So here's one of these things where I seem to be the only one in America who likes The Mist. There's a new show. There's a new show in town. It was, I guess, put out by Spike TV, 2017. It's a new version of the Stephen King thriller, The Mist, where this spooky mist takes over this Maine town. Now it's on Netflix streaming. That's where I watched it. And judging from all the other things I've read about it and heard about it, everybody else hates it except me. I really like it. I thought it was really cool. Now, one caveat when we're dealing with shows like this is I adjust my expectations according to what I am going to, the type of entertainment product I know that I'm going to be viewing. Okay? I have made a mental calculation before I even started the thing. First of all, it's a TV show. That tells you something right there. It's on Spike TV. That's not a TV show on HBO. It's not going to be Game of Thrones. Okay? It's not going to be, it's a mystical TV show about a spooky subject. I am fully expecting it to be at best, at absolute best case scenario, B-grade quality entertainment. I'm expecting it to have big gaping plot holes. So when they talk about big gaping plot holes, I'm like, okay, I didn't really notice those ones. Yeah, I guess those are big ones. I wasn't really looking. I have a totally different approach to movies like this or experiences like this. I know what I'm getting into. This is one of the things that I talk about. I've talked about in other videos I've made. It's like when you go see Jurassic Park. You know what you're watching. It's a freaking movie about dinosaurs eating people. Hello? It's not going to be Citizen Kane, and you're not expecting it to be Citizen Kane. You're pleasantly surprised if the acting is decent. If there's like one good character actor in there, like a Jeff Goldblum, you're like, okay, cool. And he'll say a couple of cool lines, and that's good enough for you. You're watching an entertainment product. So you adjust your expectations accordingly. And I did the exact same thing with The Mist, and I was way pleasantly surprised. Matter of fact, I thought it was awesome. Everybody else hates it. Every review I've had, every review I've read, and every link I've clicked on about it, hate it. For reasons that are suspicious to me. Well, let's get into the substance of one of the complaints. Now, let me just say caveat number 2, and this is an important caveat. If you are a fan of Stephen King and you read the book, you will hate it too. Do not watch it. Do not go near it. Apparently, I didn't read the Stephen King book. I haven't read any of Stephen King's books. Yeah, I know. Everyone hears that and goes, and freaks out. Yeah, I know. I'll get around to them. So I don't have time, man. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always putting out videos and doing other stupid things. I don't have time to be reading Stephen King novels. I'm watching on TV. This was 10 hours of my life right here. I didn't even have time to do this. So I didn't have time to read a Stephen King book. But from what I gather, of course the book is much better. I mean, that's a given. But they take liberties and they change the whole substance of the Mist itself. Which, if you read the book, that will probably really bother you. From what I figure they've done is The Mist. In the movie that I watched on Netflix, what The Mist isn't very clear. It's some sort of spooky thing that's very metaphysical in the version I watched. They allude to it being the wrath of God, which I thought was kind of cool and interesting. But if you read the book where it's none of that, it might really bother you. Because apparently in the book, it has no moral component to it whatsoever. It's just a spooky mist, and there are big, huge, what seem to be overgrown lobsters and monsters in the midst, but they seem to be regular, everyday animals. And people aren't getting killed on purpose. They're getting killed because, they're stepping into a mist where there are dangerous animals in. So it's neutral. In this version, the mist is not neutral. A big part of this is what is the mist, and they allude to the fact that it's kind of the judgment of God. There's one scene where they play, where they do an ordeal test where a priest and a woman walk out into the mist, see who it kills. So the mist in this is not neutral. If you've read the book, that will bother you a lot. to the point where you won't like it. That could be why the reviews are so routinely bad. What it does right and why I liked it so much. It's very similar to why I liked originally The Walking Dead. Now, The Walking Dead over the years has turned into something that I can barely watch. But the first 2.5 years of The Walking Dead, it was one of the coolest things out there on TV. It was everything I was hoping it was going to be. Why? When I latch on to these type of horror / world-ending apocalyptic movies, one of the things that they play off of that I think is the most effective and the most interesting thing is not necessarily monster versus man, but man versus himself. You know, when society breaks down, people start going after each other, and moral order breaks down, and people turn into these, you know, rabid dog versions of themselves. That's one of the most interesting things about these. That's the angle that I find the most interesting. In the first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead, that was brilliantly done. It'd be, again, same idea, B-movie quality brilliant, you know, but brilliantly done in terms of entertaining. Not brilliantly done in terms of this is a masterpiece of great literature or this is really deep philosophical stuff. Brilliantly done in that it is really, really fun and interesting. That's what this hits. I thought this was really fun and interesting, and there are aspects of it that I thought were wildly entertaining. The idea, apparently in the book, it all takes place in one supermarket. In this version, there are 3 separate places. Now, again, that'll bother you if you read the book. I didn't read the book, so it didn't bother me at all. All right, there's three separate places. What do I care? You know, more places to look at. And actually, in terms of a technique, a cinematic technique, that usually needs to be done. You know, they do that when they put plays in movies, when they turn plays into movies. And a play, you usually have it take place in one place or 2 places or 3 places. In a movie, you can expand the universe. There are reasons for that. Generally, it adds something to the cinematic quality of it. Moves it around more, makes the thing breathe more. Now, people complain that part of the point of this is that the claustrophobia of being caught in the mist itself is what starts to slowly eat at the people and drive them mad. It's why the moral code. What happens is the mist puts this apocalyptic breakdown through the people who are caught in the mist. Moral order starts to degenerate. People start to turn on each other. People start to go crazy and get really paranoid and start to harm each other. Now that's a great theme for a horror / suspense. It's one of my favorite themes. It's why I started watching this originally, because I knew that was kind of what it was about. You know, everyone's caught in what I read about originally, everyone's caught in a supermarket and starts turning on each other because there's some spooky mist outside. What I was watching on Netflix is everyone's caught in 3 separate places trying to get together, but they start turning on each other because there's some spooky evil mist outside that they allude to the fact that it's got evil in it. And in the mist in this version, picks and chooses. Sometimes it doesn't kill people, and they don't tell you exactly why. In the mist, they make a much bigger mystery of what this mist is in this one. You know, what is it? Is it the judgment of God? They throw that out there a few times. It could be. Is it a military experiment gone wrong? There are military people around. They allude to that. So they set up more of a mystery itself about the mist and what it is and why it's killing. Why is it kill? Why can't we just get along with the mist? Why can't we just get along? Why can't we all inhabit things together? But there are some, I wouldn't say expert attributes to this, because that's a stretch. I would say I liked it because I found it almost completely within the boundaries of, it was quality enough. It was good enough. You know, in the back of my mind is the knowledge that I am watching a horror / suspense movie that was made for Spike TV, and I'm watching it on Netflix. So that's always present with me when I'm watching this movie. If it hits a B quality, I'm satisfied. If it does enough, if it's good enough for me to enjoy it without being embarrassed that I'm wasting my time watching it, then I'm satisfied. And this was way good enough. It's way good enough. There's some really, really interesting things that go on in here, as far as I was concerned. You know, without giving too many spoilers away, there's a woman who starts to go a little loopy and become kind of a prophet of the mist itself. And people start to follow her and take her seriously. And I thought they did a good job with this crazy mist woman who starts to understand the mist and bond with it. That was good. There's a mystery that apparently the writers of this TV show put in there about there's a plot that hinges on a rape and a sort of whodunit. And I thought it was handled really well. You know, again, for a TV movie about a mist attacking a small town. Again, there's a qualifier on that. Handled really well for a TV movie about a spooky mist that attacks a small town. You have to put those parameters on the whole thing. You know? It's if you see a well